We're all getting pretty used to AI that can write poems or whip up some code, right? But what about an AI that actually knows when to, well, say nothing at all? Today, we're diving into a huge leap forward for AI called Retrieval Augmented Generation, or just RAG. It's a really smart approach designed to make AI more trustworthy, more accurate, and believe it or not, a little more humble.
Now, to see why this is so important, let's just start with a simple question. Which planet in our solar system has the most moons? Go ahead, think about it. You probably have an answer in your head, but are you absolutely 100% sure? This little piece of trivia perfectly sets up one of the biggest problems we have with AI today.
And here's where it gets interesting. Look at the difference in confidence. A person might say something like, I'm pretty sure it's Jupiter, but yeah, I should probably check that. But an AI from early 2023, it would state with absolute certainty that Jupiter has 88 moons. See the problem? One is a guess that knows it's a guess. The other is a confident but totally wrong answer.
And that right there brings us straight to the heart of AI's trust problem. What we're dealing with is something you could call a brilliant but flawed mind. These large language models, or LLMs, are incredibly powerful, but on their own, they can be fundamentally unreliable.
You know, researchers actually have a name for this: the paradox of performance. It's this weird situation where, on one hand, these models can write complex code in seconds, but on the other, they can fail in some really concerning ways, like just making up facts or presenting old information like it's brand new. This mix of pure brilliance and spectacular failure is the core problem we have to solve. So this all really boils down to a few key challenges. First, they can't tell you where they got their information. It's like that friend who says, "Oh, I heard somewhere that," but can never tell you where. Super frustrating. Second, their knowledge is totally static. It's frozen in time from whenever they were trained. And finally, and this is the big one, when they don't know something, they often hallucinate, confidently just making up an answer that sounds right. So how do we fix this? Well, this is where Retrieval Augmented Generation, RAG, comes into play. The best way to think about it is like giving the AI an open book test. Instead of forcing it to just rely on whatever it crammed into its memory months or even years ago, it's a really elegant solution to these problems. So what is RAG really? It's basically a system that connects that creative language model to an external factual knowledge source. So before the AI even tries to answer your question, it first does a search, kind of like we would, to find the most relevant, up-to-date facts. Only then does it generate an answer based on what it just found. The whole process is actually a super simple three-step pipeline. First, you ask a question. That's the query. Second, the system retrieves relevant information from a source you trust, like your company's internal documents or a live database. And finally, the AI uses those retrieved facts to generate an answer that's grounded in reality. It's a huge shift from just guessing to actual reasoning. Okay, so we have this three-step process. But how does this simple change actually fix AI's biggest problems? Well, it fundamentally changes the model's behavior, and it leads to a much more humble and, frankly, a more honest AI. This approach just directly tackles those core issues we talked about. Outdated knowledge, solved. You just update the external source, you don't have to retrain the entire model. Hallucinations, they're drastically reduced because the AI is forced to stick to the facts it just found. And that whole "I can't cite my sources" thing, fixed. For the first time, the AI can actually show its work by pointing you back to the original documents. But you know what? Maybe the most profound change is this. A RAG system can do something that most other AIs just can't. It can say, "I don't know." If its search for information comes up empty, it doesn't just invent an answer to please you. It admits the limits of its own knowledge. That is a massive step forward for building AI we can actually trust, because it chooses to be honest instead of confidently wrong. Now, of course, it's not a perfect system. RAG introduces a new dependency, that retriever. The quality of the AI's answer is now completely tied to the quality of that initial search. I mean, if the system can't find the right information, the AI might give you an incomplete answer or even hold back the right one. The challenge shifts from just preventing hallucinations to making sure the search itself is top-notch. When you take a step back and really look at this, you realize RAG isn't just a technical patch. It represents the next evolution in artificial intelligence, a really fundamental shift away from pure memorization and toward active reasoning. What we're really seeing here is a huge shift in how an AI knows things. The old AI had what's called parametric knowledge.
Everything was just locked inside its programming, totally static and fixed. The new RAG-based AI has contextual knowledge. It doesn't need to have everything memorized. It just needs to know how to find and how to apply information. Its knowledge becomes dynamic, renewable. It's a game changer. Which brings us all the way back to our opening question. The planet with the most moons is actually Saturn, with a whopping 146 confirmed as of late 2023. A standard AI trained before that discovery would get this wrong, no question. But a RAG system? It would just connect to a live data source, retrieve the latest count, and give you the right answer. Just like that.
So this leaves us with a final thought to chew on. As we build this next generation of AI, maybe its most important skill isn't having a vast memory of facts. Maybe it's the ability to find the truth, to ground itself in real evidence, and to know what it doesn't know. Perhaps the future of intelligence isn't about what an AI knows, but how well it can learn.